We're live.
Good evening. Welcome to the 15th Annual State of the City, sponsored by the Historical Society of University City. I'm Eleanor Mullen, president of our society, and we hold this event in March to celebrate the birth of our founder, E.G. Lewis, who was born on March 4th, 1869. I do want to first thank our civic officials for spending yet another night doing civic business. Besides Mayor Crow and City Manager Brooke Sharp, with us here tonight are City Clerk Laurette Reese and council people John Tiemann, Lisa Brenner, Dennis Fuller, and Wayne Smotherson. And if I missed someone, and Stacy Clay. Thank you for being here. Another night of civic fun. This year has been productive and peaceful for the Historical Society. Our new program, Meet Your Neighbors, had its inaugural visit to Kirkwood's historic Greek Revival house known as Mudd's Grove. This summer, we're going to stay closer to home and tour the Sutter Meyer House. Mayor Crow hosted a wonderful party at his home to celebrate his century plaque with over 100 people in attendance. At our annual dinner meeting, Thomas Eisel, co-author of They Will Run, The Golden Age of Cars in St. Louis, reminded us of the vital part that St. Louis has played in the automotive industry. We continue to work to organize our archives. It's coming along, not as quickly as we'd like, but we're working at it. Under the leadership of Liz Bell, our Century Home program is close to having 200 century plaques displayed. We recently notified 218 people that their homes had reached that century mark. We will be participating in the Regional Historical Society's June 6th event at Jefferson Barracks to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our nation. Esley Hamilton is leading the charge on this. Please look up. Above your head, according to the General Electric Corporation in 1903, is the largest searchlight in the world. It is 11 feet in diameter. Our Vice President, Eric Kuzniewicz, did I do it? Oh, yes, continues to lead our campaign to restore the searchlight. The light actually is fine, but the 120-year-old elevator system needs refurbishing. All we need is funding, and we look to the city for that. Eric has had productive talks with several officials, and we do hope to resolve this in 2026. At this time, I'd like to thank our two auxiliary board members who help with receptions and other tasks, my husband, TJ Mullen, and Barbara Stulak's husband, George. I would now ask that all my board members who are here stand for a moment to be recognized. Their hard work and devotion to the history of our city makes me, and I hope, our city proud. We've got most of us here. We wish Gregory Rose much happiness in his retirement. It's been a pleasure working with him these past years. He always had time to attend to our concerns, and with everything else on his plate, we really appreciated that. And now, I will turn the evening over to our fearless leaders, Mayor Terry Crow and City Manager Brooke Sharp. When they are done speaking, please stay to socialize and enjoy refreshments, including, of course, our famous City Hall cake. Speaking first will be Brooke Sharp. Brooke was appointed interim city manager upon Gregory's retirement on February 6th. She joined University City in 2021 and served as deputy city manager under Gregory Rose, overseeing several departments and advancing strategic priorities. We all realize that stepping in as an interim appointment is a difficult role, and we commend Brooke on how well she is handling this position. I now turn the microphone over to Brooke.
Thank you very much, Eleanor, and good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here with you all tonight to discuss our city's accomplishments and our priorities for next year. Before doing so, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the members of our team that make it possible for us to continue to provide our residents with high-quality amenities and excellent services. Honorable Mayor Terry Crow and the members of the University City Council set the vision for our organization, and I can assure you that each member of the City Council is committed to ensuring that we meet our residents' needs. It is their vision that we execute every single day. Our department directors serve on my executive leadership team, and they, along with their respective teams, are on the ground every day, making sure that we continue to provide top-tier services to our residents, making University City a wonderful place to live, work, and play. And finally, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge our previous city manager, Gregory Rose. Gregory served University City for a total of 12 years across 2 tenures. When he returned to University City in 2018, he brought many years of leadership experience that provided stability to our organization. Under his leadership, we've completed several major projects, ensuring economic stability for University City. I am excited to continue the momentum he has built for us. He has some very big shoes to fill, but I promise you all I am up for the task. Speaking of momentum, 2025 was a very busy year for University City. Construction is underway for Deerbergs and Target at the Market at Olive Development, with both set to open in 2026. The Subtext Local University City and the True Hotel projects are also underway in the Delmar Loop, both of which are set to open this year as well. University City continues to experience strong momentum in both public and private investment. Our team will continue to identify opportunities for attracting new businesses to University City and assisting our current businesses with their retention and expansion needs. Another major investment that is near completion is the Annex Trinity renovation, and I am very excited about this. I served as project manager for this project from the day that I stepped in the door, so it has been a very long time coming. The city undertook this project to provide the University City Police Department and the municipal court with a new home. Both the police department and court have been operating out of temporary trailers for more than 10 years. The 2 historic structures that share space with our beautiful city hall were sitting in a state of disrepair. Upon approval by the mayor and city council, we undertook a massive renovation of both buildings, preserving and repurposing these beautiful historic structures for our court and police operations. The Annex and Trinity renovation reached substantial completion on February 18th of this year. All major work is complete, and furniture is being delivered over the next couple of weeks, and then staff will start moving into their new homes at the end of March. And we are looking to set up a ribbon cutting, and we'll have some public tours before they start operating out of those structures, and we'll make sure you all have that information once it's available. Once staff has been relocated to their new offices, the temporary trailers will be demolished and work on a new parking lot will commence. This work, parking has been a challenge here. It has been a challenge. This work should be complete by the end of the year, signaling the end of this project. We just ask you all to bear with us a little bit longer because parking has truly been a challenge. As we near completion of this project, I am pleased to announce that even with a number of unforeseen conditions, the city is still at budget for this project, which was funded without having to raise taxes. I've been told this is quite an accomplishment for a project of this size to come in at budget and to be completed on time. So, very excited. I extend my gratitude to our architect, Trivers, to our general contractor, ICS, and their subcontractors. But most importantly, I want to extend my thanks to the citizens and the staff. Navigating the limited parking, moving around, ongoing construction, which sometimes included a 10-minute wait while an 18-wheeler unloaded some equipment and they just completely blocked the entrance to the parking lot. There are people that have had to walk from Municipal Lot 4 when it was bitter cold outside just to get to City Hall. So let's be real, this project caused a lot of inconvenience for everyone, but we did not let inconvenience stop our progress. We pushed forward as you City Lions do, and we got the job done. This accomplishment is not just the staff's, but is also the citizens' accomplishment as well. The projects I just reviewed were all massive projects in and of themselves. Taking on just one of these projects would be a major task for any city. But here in U City, we decided to undertake them all at once. We have had construction going on from one area to another. And we still have other projects that I haven't even mentioned. We provided economic development incentives to Parkview Place Apartments to assist in the renovation of their senior facility, which provides affordable housing to seniors. We've provided incentives to Corner 17, a long-standing business in the Delmar Loop, to assist with their expansion to the old Royal Bank site on Olive. We continue to welcome new businesses to University City like Spicy Chef, Euphoria, AQ Nail Spa, and Opus Kitchen and Lounge on Olive, just to name a few, all of which are relocated in an area that the mayor and city council targeted for redevelopment and reinvestment. Which brings me to an initiative that is also very close to my heart, the revitalization of the Third Ward. This initiative was assigned to me when I joined the U City team in May of 2021. The Third Ward Revitalization Plan was adopted in January of 2025. As my role with this organization has evolved, I've taken more of an oversight role while our coordinator, Stephen Franklin, and Economic Development Manager, Becky Alvin, have been busy behind the scenes, engaging external stakeholders and building out the recommended programs. I'm excited to announce that we are looking to launch pilot programs for the home repair and down payment assistance very soon. Stephen will be presenting to the council during the study session on March 9th, during which he will explain the strategy for launching the pilot programs and seeking guidance from council on eligibility guidelines and eligible improvements. Okay, so much of my discussion tonight has centered around improvements in terms of redevelopment. I'd also like to take a moment to discuss our internal improvements according to the most recent resident satisfaction survey. We conduct this survey biannually, with the last survey conducted in 2023 and then one in 2025, which we just presented the results, I believe, in late January, early February. For the 2025 survey, the city saw an increase in positive responses in 64% of the areas surveyed, with 32% of those considered significant increases. ETC Institute, who conducts the survey for us, noted that this type of success has been uncommon since 2020. The area that saw the largest increase in positive responses from the last survey was feeling of safety in the city. Closely following was the city's effort to prevent crime and how quickly police respond to emergencies. I want to pause here to acknowledge Chief Larry Hampton and the entire U City Police Department for a job well done. Our officers saw that there was room for improvement and they stepped up. They continue to prioritize safety and crime prevention, resulting in a 57% overall decrease in reported crime from 2016 through 2025. Tonight, I want to thank our officers for a job well done. Now, it's always easy and exciting to talk about the positives, the accomplishments of our administration, but we also know that there is always room for improvement. The resident satisfaction survey informs us of the good and the bad, and I want you all to know that we hear you. I hear you. You all have indicated that we need to improve in our snow removal process, street cleaning, the quality of the Ruth Park Golf Course, and the condition of our streets. And most importantly, how courteously you all are treated by the City Hall staff. These are just a few of the areas where we know that we can use improvement. And I do not take this lightly, and we will do better. The mayor, council, and I are committed to focusing on the areas you all have indicated need improvement, especially customer service. We can do better, and we will do better. Doing better will include improvements and new programming for Parks and Recreation as well. Next month, our new Director of Parks and Recreation and Public Areas Maintenance, Reginald Burton, will join our organization. He'll bring 15 years of experience in managing recreation programs, parks, and facilities maintenance. He's relocating from Indiana, which is why it's taken him a little bit of time to onboard, but I'm very excited to have him join us, and I can't wait to see some of the programs and events that he plans for us. Also joining our team is Craig Chandler. Craig will join us on April 1st as the Director of Planning and Zoning. Craig brings over 10 years of experience to our team, and he will be relocating from Florida. Craig has been in Florida for 10 years, and he's gone through a few hurricanes. And he has extensive experience in disaster recovery, which I believe will be a great asset to us as we are proceeding with the flood buyouts. I'm confident that he will jump right in and assist our residents in navigating that process. And speaking of the flood buyout, the process is underway, though it is moving a little bit slower than we would like. SEMA is currently working on offers for those in the buyout area, and we have our consulting tracking down information on utility easements that came up with during the title searches. Economic Development Manager and Interim Director of Planning and Zoning, Becky Alvin, has been overseeing this process, and she's already requested to maintain some type of oversight of the process because she just wants to make sure the residents have some type of continuity. They've been through a lot. They went from dealing with one director to dealing with Becky, and so she is committed to seeing them through this process and being that stability for them. And I have the utmost confidence that both Craig and Becky will facilitate this process to the point of conclusion. I joined this city almost 5 years ago, and it has truly been an honor and a pleasure to serve in this community. I am proud to be part of a city that continues to grow and evolve while preserving and honoring its historic roots. There is a level of U-City pride that one can only understand when you join the U-City family in some capacity. That black and gold, Miss Linda, that black and gold. Linda was on our task force, and she was very adamant that I get her a black and gold t-shirt for the third ward. So that black and gold. I want you all to know that I'm committed to protecting and preserving the legacy of University City while balancing the need for growth, evolution, and revitalization. On the horizon are projects for reimagining the Delmar Loop, facilitating the redevelopment of the old Seafood City parcel at 8008 Olive, and the ongoing revitalization of the Third Ward, just to name a few. We look forward to the eventual release of the federal dollars that will allow us to deploy the 32 EV charging stations in the loop, and we will continue to leverage our funds by seeking grants and partnering with external stakeholders on various initiatives. And I make you all this promise tonight that every decision, every recommendation to council, every budget consideration that I have to deal with will be made with the strong legacy and pride of University City in mind. I am here to serve, and I look forward to continuing to work for and with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. That was clear and informative and very enjoyable. Thank you. Terry Crow has served as mayor since 2016, and before that, he was the first ward councilman. I don't think anyone can argue with the fact that our city has seen unprecedented economic growth during his term. Now let's see what our future holds.
Well, I liked how she started. I'm not sure I liked how she ended on that one. Kind of left you guys all hanging there. What I'll say to everybody here is this is the most people we've had in this room in a really long time. And we are glad to have everybody back up here in the chambers. They are gorgeous. We'll talk about the roof a little bit later on. This is also, I think, the most members of council that we have ever had probably at one of these speeches. So to all of my colleagues, including Wayne Smothers, who not only serves as a council member, but as mayor pro tem, and then Dennis and John and Lisa, and then Stacy, who I think most of you guys know is departing us at the end of this term. He's moving on to, I think fatherhood's probably taking a little bit more of his time. And then you may not know this, but the candidate for the third ward seat, who is running unopposed, is Christina Dancy, and she's here with us tonight. So unless something else happens, there's our newest member of council as well. And as we go through this, I really do have to say that things like this don't happen without an awful lot of folks helping. And Laurette Reese just never stops working for everybody in this building. I mean, every single person in this building. And to all of you, I know we were talking a little bit about customer service. Since the city council only really has two employees, the city manager and the city clerk, we feel so comfortable with the customer service that you get from Laurette Reese. I've never heard anything but great compliments about how welcome she makes everybody feel. And if they're in the wrong place, she takes them to the right place. So to Laurette, we appreciate all that you do to make our community a much, much better place. And to our interim city manager, Brooke Sharp, she sort of stepped in when, we have had the most wonderful tenure, I think, with Gregory Rose. He came in at a very challenging time for our city. And you may recall, you may not know this though, that when we did a nationwide search for the city manager's position 9 years ago, not one single person from St. Louis applied for the job. We'd been in the news way too much. Gregory came in and he set about the task. So with Gregory's retirement, I do wish him the best of times with his family and on a golf course and going fishing in Dallas, Texas. But you also have to remember in this particular case, this is the first time in, I believe, 20 years that we will have a city manager search that did not begin with some form of fireworks. You can go back to when Frank was a city manager and gone away, Julie Fryer, and then Layman Walker. So this is a totally different transition. We are using a firm called MGT, which I'll talk about in a little bit later. But I do want to conclude my comments on Gregory that it truly has been an honor and a pleasure to work with someone who has had the utmost integrity towards all of us and all of you. Everybody was on equal footing from day one on until the last day that he left. And his track record, he may have timed it right. I mean, really, when you go through all the things that have accomplished during the time he was city manager, his time was probably pretty good on that one. So one of the things when he got hired, I want to make sure we go back to, number one, keep us out of the news. And I think we, for the most part, stayed out of the news. Bring back the ambulances and bring back mutual aid. That came back a long time ago. And then develop the tax base. So as we we've talked about developing the tax base. Let's talk a little bit about the snapshot. We just completed the dossier for U-City. So we are now starting the city manager search proper. And here's I think most of you know most of these numbers, but probably not all of them. We are a city of 35,000 people. Our median age is 36. Our diversity is 51% white, 41% African American, 4% Asian, 4% Latino. We have 17,000 separate households in University City with a median income of $76,000. Median property value in University City is $340,000. And over a third of our housing stock was built before 1939. Just a quick little snapshot of our community. So we retained a company called MGT, which did the search for Gregory years ago under a different name, but same company. We expect to have a short list of candidates out from the nationwide search probably at the end of April. At that time, we'll probably have a list of 10 to 12 candidates that the council will go through their resumes with a consultant and then have a short list for interviews. It has been our goal of the entire council that we not make this decision until after the election, that the new council would choose the new city manager. So the new city manager will be chosen sometime probably during the month of May. So skipping back a little bit, I want to talk about just real quickly to Eleanor. On behalf of my partner Roberto and me, we had so much fun having you folks in our house. We don't want to wait another 100 years. Come back anytime. We are happy to do it. That was a great party, and let's do more of them. And maybe some folks came from that event, but I understand that the membership is up for the Historical Society. It continues to grow. So to everybody in the room, thank you, because all of you in this room are what make this community a much better place in which to live. So Brooke touched upon the police department and the fire department. Whenever we talk about the decisions at our council level, and I do mean we, when we talk about them, we always bear in mind that two-thirds of our budget goes to public safety. That is police and fire, 2/3 of it. The most recent citizen survey says that our police and fire department are doing okay. Our ambulance drivers, EMTs, doing okay, and we appreciate that. The next thing to tell you is, and this is something from the police chief himself, that over the last 8 years, crime in University City is down 56%. That is wonderful. So there's a reason for the survey. There's a reason for the results. We realize by the way, we realize there are a ton of factors involved in that, but it's also kind of nice to take a deep breath and say, wow, that's kind of nice. I feel good. And I think we do. So Brooke also mentioned the new police station and the municipal courts building. I truly, truly hope that you will come to us sometime the end of March, take the tour, hopefully come to the ribbon cutting, because folks, you really did this the U City way. You have 2 state-of-the-art facilities, one for the police, one for the courts, inside of 2 historic buildings. So we retain 2 historic buildings. We have state-of-the-art offices inside. We use existing cash. We've used existing cash flow. There is no property tax increase. There is no bond. It came in on time and it came in on budget. You guys did a great job. Everybody did. Brooke, it really was. To me, and by the way, I also will tell you, and I think my colleagues would agree, our police officers stayed in those trailers way too long. We recognize that. They stayed in there way too long, but come see the new station. Come see it. You will see some windows that you didn't know the windows were there. You'll see some woodwork that you didn't know the woodwork was there. They have done a really good job of bringing the historic character back to that building. A couple other things along the way. I can't remember. I don't want to do too much of the Brooks already talked about. Over the past several years, we have brought 1,000 new apartments to University City. 1,000. The latest ones are the humongous ones here in the Loop. And that does tell you, I hope you understand this, that the Loop does need to be reimagined. We have been mentioned many times as one of the top 10 streets in America. We have too many vacancies there. We've had too many businesses closed down. And no offense to anybody in the room, but the vast majority of us are not the target audience for the Loop. Just saying. I don't think I'm out on a limb here, but for the most part, most of the restaurants and entertainment areas in the Loop are probably not necessarily for us. Though 2 du jour is pretty good for a bakery, and we've got a brand new conveyor belt sushi in the Loop, which is a ton of fun. We've been there 5 times. They almost know us by name. So they don't have a liquor license yet, but we're working on that for them. So we will be reimagining the Loop. It needs to happen. It truly does. The retail in the Loop has simply not come back since COVID. It has not. I also think that that's one of the good opportunities for the Economic Development Retail Sales Tax Board and the Loop Special Business District to work together. You probably do not know this, but over the years, we had a little bit of a civil war between the East Loop and the West Loop. We had some folks who didn't get along and didn't trust each other. We have worked very diligently with 2 of the people in the room here to make it happen to where the East Loop and the West Loop are now at peace and are now working together and doing joint events and doing joint projects under one director. And by the way, that may seem small to you, but to those of us who've lived it every day, that's a big deal. It is a big deal to bring the Loop back. I also want to just touch on you that you folks are now probably the largest landowners of land in the Loop, or at least most undeveloped land, because you own what is called parking lot number 4. Parking lot number 4 is our very creative name for the parking lot behind the old Cicero's. It goes all the way down to Starbucks. You know, really, that is a lot that probably at some point in time we're going to have to talk about. I want free parking as well, but it looks like to me that the Loop is going to need more people living more closely to it. And we're going to have to look and see what we're going to do. We also have the street called Leland right behind it that we have to decide it really doesn't do anything. It really doesn't do anything anymore. So these are all things that my colleagues and I have on a list that we're going to work on during the next year and see what works and frankly, see what doesn't work. I want to take just a minute and talk about flooding. And the reason I want to talk about this is I want to be candid. And I would say that I believe that likely we will never meet everyone's expectations in this area. We will do our best to prioritize and do what we can, but I can assure you that at some point in time, someone's not going to be pleased with the decisions or the priorities we are making. Our Stormwater Commission has worked very diligently with our fire department to create an early warning system on our own that goes north of U City that gives early warning systems all the way down to the fire department so that they can get word out to people that the waters are coming. Good, but not good enough. We forced MSD to come clean out the River Des Peres, and that was one hell of a cleanup. That was a lot of junk coming out of that river. I really hate calling it a river. I just want to always go on record saying that. We have worked diligently to get money from FEMA and SEMA for far too many buyouts. 10 houses in an apartment complex. We wanted a lot more. They did not. The money is sitting there and we're waiting now on title searches and on appraisals before everyone gets their buyout money. Is it enough? Probably not. It's one more step in the right direction. We've worked with Congressman Wesley Bell to get another earmark because one of the other items we are trying to get done is to purchase the dog park in Overland, Missouri, which is our neighbor to the north, right behind our Costco development. They have a very big dog park and they want a better one further in, and they're willing to sell us their dog park. We would buy the dog park, and the Army Corps of Engineers would put in a detention basin so that when the waters come up, there's another place for the waters to go rather than University City. This one's been a bit of a challenge. We could tell you stories over drinks anytime you'd like us to. Earmarks come and go. We didn't make it in this last one, but we're hoping to make it in the next round. I also want to take a little minute to talk about the school district. Though we are two separate entities, what they do and what we do have to work in tandem. And I want to take a moment to congratulate the teachers, faculty, administration, school board, students for being named one of the top 3 most improved school districts in St. Louis County last year. You know, that is a nice compliment to our students, to the faculty, to everybody. We have got to, Sharonica does an incredible job, and I want to make sure that we always say thank you to them for the improvements that they are making. I also want to thank them for their creativity. You may not know this, but in University City, we have so many kids who qualify for free lunch. There's really a free lunch program for everybody. But more importantly, the school district saw a need for health care for their students, and they reached out to charities and philanthropists in St. Louis and put together a group of people to put in a healthcare facility in the high school. To the best of my knowledge, one of the first ones around, and clearly the first one in University City. And to Sharonica and her team, I truly do appreciate the fact that they did this. Next thing, the police department and the school district are in daily, if not multiple times a day, contact for the safety and security of our students. And that includes our students who are immigrants. And I want to make sure you hear from us that our police department knows that if they have a signed judicial warrant, they would probably have to execute on it. But other than that, there's not much else that we have to do. And we want to make sure that we work with the school district to keep our children safe. Though I understand we had a little change in Washington, D.C. today. We may be going from the fire to the frying pan or frying pan to the fire, but there was a change that did occur today. And some of you guys have been around a lot longer than me. Is this really the first hotel ever in University City? The first one ever. Amazing to me. The True Hotel over at the Del Mar Harvard building. You guys are making rent right now. I don't know if you know this, but they don't have enough parking spots. So parking lot number 4 is going to be they're going to be renting spots in parking lot number 4 and paying the city rent on those parking spots. So it's kind of good to have, but the True Hotel had a little hitch in their get along as they were moving through financing, and now they're probably going to be opening sometime in the fall, we think. But very glad to have the True Hotel coming here. Also, I think for those of you who live on the southern end of town, you may know that the worst rated street in University City was Pershing Avenue. Pershing Avenue from the Parkway all the way to Clayton. Now, by the way, that was not too many blocks of asphalt, but it took the county, it took University City, it took Clayton, everybody to agree. And that was a little bit of a problem. I will say to you on behalf of my colleagues, we apologize that it has taken us so long to get Pershing done. But Pershing should be done this month or next month, streets and sidewalks. So then we'll move on to the next one because, as Brooke said, we've got a lot of streets and a lot of sidewalks that need our attention. But Pershing should be done. I also want to follow up on a comment that was just made recently, and that was last time we got together, I asked if any of you would like to donate some time to the city. So I'm going to ask again. We always need volunteers for our commissions, whether it be planning, whether it be park, whether it be arcs and letters, whether it be the pension board. Some of them only meet when needed. Some of them meet quarterly. Some of them meet monthly. Please take a moment. If you haven't been in a while, these things run smoothly. The one I will tell you, the one that just did the yeoman's work for the last 5-6 years, the planning commission, we can get a city council meeting done in 45 minutes. But with all the plans going through, particularly for the Costco development, their meetings were 3 and 4 hours long. And those people never stop. So when we're talking about taking credit for the Costco development, every person on the planning commission needs to get a thank you too. And the people on the school board who agreed to sell the Menair building to the Orthodox Community of Torah Prep, and to the Orthodox community who agreed to sell Torah Prep. So you got to go through, you go through the Costco development, that huge development, which is still just amazing to me. There are so many people to thank for its success. I mean, so many. None more important than Paulette Carr, who was truly the spearhead for this. And I had the great opportunity to talk to her husband, Jim, just last month, and we will be naming the street in front of Target Paulette Carr Way so that she will be recognized, because on the plaque, it's all the members of council when it opened. So they're going to name Paulette Carr Way right in front of Target. Thought it'd be kind of cool for Paulette. So as I round out my remarks, let me go through the things that we have on our plate coming up. First and foremost, the most important decision the city council can make is who they hire as city manager. And we're right in the midst of it right now. So the most important thing all these folks over here and I can do is make sure we do the best that we can to find the best candidate that fits your needs and our community's needs. So that's probably priority number one for us as we move forward. Number two, out of the goodness of our heart and the fact that we really wanted Target to come here, you know, we took $250,000 worth of free dirt. And it's been the most painful $250,000 of free dirt I've ever had in my life. You may not know this, but Target wasn't going to come unless they could find a way to get their excavation costs less, and the developer didn't want to pay. So we agreed that we'd take the dirt into Ruth Park, into the driving range area, because we had so much erosion. Well, we took it, and it sat, and it sat, and it sat, and then it started running downhill. So when people get mad at me about the driving range, I want to come back. It was never on the list to redo. We got the dirt. We didn't do enough with it. And now we have a plan in place to do the right thing with the dirt, do the right thing with the dirt, and get the driving range open as soon as we possibly can. It has taken us too long. I apologize for that, but I can assure you we will get it done. Brooke touched upon the Third Ward Revitalization Task Force. I know you guys are liking sitting here. Come back Monday night. Monday night, 5:30 to 6:30. You will have the first informational meeting on the next phase of the Third Ward Revitalization Task Force. That's going to be a force by that's going to be out there for a while. It's going to be out there for a while. This isn't an overnight thing. This is a long-term investment. The money comes in over the life of the TIF. The TIF is 23 years. We hope with Costco and Dearborg's coming in and Target that the TIF will pay off early, but who knows? And I think you heard this last year, but I really do like this number. The sales tax projections for that development are that it will provide 60 times the sales tax revenue that area used to provide. 60 times. So that's just for the city portion and sales tax. Think what it does for the school district when the TIF is paid off and it's reappraised. This is huge. So it's wonderful to have that economic engine out there. And I look forward to seeing how those funds help folks in the Third Ward and also along Olive. Next, I mentioned this briefly, reimagining the loop. You know what? We've looked west. We got to look east again. The loop needs some help. They've been there with us. They're our downtown. We need to figure out the next step. We don't know exactly what that is, but we've got the funds to be able to have someone come in, do some community engagement and see what we need to do next there. The next one, I think you even gave the address, but I don't know if I just call it Seafood City. I am sick and tired of everybody being able to use Seafood City to teach the kids how to drive a car. I mean, because that's where I taught my kids how to drive a car and park a car. So the owners of Seafood City have been a challenge for us. They have been a challenge for you. They have not been good neighbors. And I say that very openly to all of you, and you know that. We are having a challenge finding a way forward with this because we've got to find somebody to partner with us. We'd love it to be them. Not sure it's going to be them, but Seafood City is 17 acres of land. So largest undeveloped lot in University City, and it's right on Olive. And no, I don't want it to become a church. No, I don't want it to go off the tax rolls. I want 17 acres of taxable, tax generating revenue because I think we need it. Our tax base for the longest time was a bedroom community. And we have got to make sure that we lay the foundation for the future generations here by developing our tax base. And Seafood City is part of it. The next thing that is very mundane, but is very important to us, all of you said in the citizen survey that the police and fire were great. They're phenomenal. We have 2 pension plans in University City. One of them is the non-uniform plan, and it is well funded. It's over 80%. The other one is the police and fire plan. It is underfunded. It is at 77%. We cannot do any adjustments to help anybody in the retirement plan as long as it's under 80%. We have to find a solution to that. There is nothing exciting about that whatsoever, but it has to be done. We're not sure what the process exactly will be. We're starting that process now. This has been out there, just so you know, this has been out there for a while, and we are going to turn our focus to it this year and see what we can get done. Last year or the year before, someone asked a great question, and I'm just going to close with this comment because someone asked, what do you think the biggest risk is facing University City? And I think it's the same answer this year as it was whenever that question was asked. And I still believe that the biggest threat to our community right now exists in Jefferson City and Washington, D.C. Because you don't know what's going to come out legislatively. You don't know what's going to come out administratively. You aren't able to plan, and things can turn on a dime in a minute. And most of the time, if we look at both of those 2 places right now, they do not agree with our values and we don't agree with theirs. And that is a challenge for all of us. We live and we play by the rules. We work with everybody that we can. We try to reach across the aisle whenever we can. But I think we all have to recognize that the flood money comes and goes regularly with whether they're going to fund it or not fund it. It's an amazing thing. So I really do believe that our biggest risk is coming from outside of community than from within. To all of you, I appreciate you living in University City. I appreciate the care that you show all of your neighbors. I appreciate the time you spend on making this a better place to live. And I appreciate you letting me serve as mayor for 8 years. Thank you very much. Searchlight. I forgot to mention the Searchlight. So, yeah, I know, but I know this is important, folks. I want to talk about this. You guys have been wanting funds for the Searchlight, and my colleagues now will figure out some portion of this, but I want to put some of this back on you. I think the city will come up with a portion of this money, but I don't believe it's the city's job to come up with all of it. When the school district started their program of Show Me the World for the kids in the coffee program, they came to us and said, can you raise the money to send these kids to Guatemala so they can learn the coffee business from planting to growing to harvesting to drying to everything, all the way through to it's now on the store shelves in Schnucks and in Deerbergs. They came to us and they asked us to raise $30,000. We raised $30,000 in less than 60 days. The businesses in University City will help you if you will ask. Many of the individuals in this room and in University City will donate if you ask. Some of you in this room need to help raise that money. City Council, I feel very certain, will come up with some money, some way, somehow to help start this program. But I don't believe that we will take the whole nut. I do not believe that will happen. What I would say to all of you, if the Historical Society or some of its members are looking for a project, this is one you can sink your teeth into. I am happy to share with you all the names of all the people who contributed to the Show Me the World project. They're not going to surprise you. What may surprise you is the generosity of those checks, because I cannot remember one single business turning me down. Not one. And I think it'd be the same way. If you tell the story the way you guys tell this story, I believe you'll have a lot of loot businesses and the larger business say, how can we help? That's my little commercial for the Searchlight. Thank you. As I recall, $45,000. So we're going with the number 45. It's simple. Okay. $45,000. We'll go from there. And somehow, some way, I think there's probably gonna be something somewhere, but I just want to lay this back on everybody. This one would not be a heavy lift. It would not. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help, but I believe community engagement would be very helpful here as well. Thank you.
Thank you, and I will be contentious, as is my right in University City, right? And I will say, the city owns the building, the city should repair the building. And that's my stance. That's my stance. Although I had not, we are not a fundraising organization. That's not our strength. If a simple letter campaign to businesses around here would help, we can certainly do that. But we certainly would like to get it repaired. You know, we could then shine it on the loop, and then people would come to the loop to see the Searchlight. Just an idea. Anyway, we appreciate your thinking about it and willingness to help with it, and we'll be discussing this at a next board meeting. So thank you again for being here. It's a great crowd, and please stay and chat and enjoy the refreshments.
I'm